Breaking news in the National Football League as New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara has been suspended for 3 games due to last year's altercation in Las Vegas during the 2022 Pro Bowl weekend. Also in the NFL tonight on the Sports Show, we continue our NFL divisional previews as we continue the AFC Conference. Tonight, we preview the AFC East and the AFC West. Also in the NBA, Los Angeles Lakers star player Anthony Davis has signed a 3-year contract worth $186 million. It's showtime.
From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
Listen, Steven, I told you already, we're not doing pre-recorded tracks. Oh, wait. Oh, we're live. Oh, shit. Hey, what's up, everybody? We are live. We are here. We are rocking. We are rolling. And you know what that means? You wanted the best? Well, you got the best when it comes to discussing the world of sports. That is our Nation Sports Show. What's going on, everybody? I am Ezra here. We are live. We are ready to roll. We thank you guys for joining us as always. And of course, I got my 3 brothers here. Our boy Kevin, who originally is on with us, is unfortunately not here. He's dealing with some medical issues, some health issues right now. He will be back next week. And we wish Kevin all the best. And we hope he recovers quickly and gets back with us. More than likely next week he will be back. So check in with us, check in on our social media for more information as it becomes available as we get closer to next week, of course. But this week, man, it's gonna be action packed. We got a lot to get to, obviously, but before we do, we got to detail the ways that you can interact with us and follow us. And of course, the first is, of course, on Twitter at Owen_Sports Show. Also, Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show and Instagram.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Don't forget to also follow, of course, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as we always are live on there every Tuesday, same time, same channel. Also, don't forget to follow our crew, the Nation's Corner, our brothers and sisters there. Tony Justice, Front Row, Mongrovian Mike, Debhausen, whoever else they could bring onto the show. You know as well as we do. We talk sports, but we also love our pro wrestling, obviously, and they do too. So they'll be talking all things pro wrestling this Saturday, same time as this show, but on Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 Central. On youtube.com/The Nation's Corner. Hit them up. You want everything you want to know about pro wrestling, get to that. Of course, this week being a big event with Mission Pro Boiling Point, featuring the debut of Izzy Moreno taking on Jasmine Allure in Izzy's debut match. And also other matches, Tiffany taking on Genocide for the Mission Pro Championship and more. Check out that card on Title Match Network. And of course, we'll be discussing that show on the Nation's Corner this Saturday. Also, don't forget to follow at 2 Sweet Cosplay across all of our socials. Our next appearance was supposed to be Fan Expo. Unfortunately, that is not going to work out. Just because of timing, financial, and all that stuff. But we will be there. Some of us will be there just wandering the con floor. We may have a photo shoot, all that to be announced, but we also will be all out weekend at StarCast. So if you see any of our crew, drop by and say hello. We'll be dressed in our best all fucking day, if you catch my drift. Now enough of my spiel. Let's get to the people in this room right now. I'm going to go ahead and introduce first with us, of course, is our man right here, the number one fan of the Roll Tide, that Crimson Tide, baby. Man, whose team is going to get stomped by the other team in the division this year. Yeah, I'm actually telling the truth. Don't that smile? I know what it means. The one, the only JT, not Justin Timberlake, Joey Thornton. What's up?
What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having an amazing Tuesday. And first off, Ezra, screw you for that comment. Alabama's going to be the one that's rolling over everybody this year because, for one thing, we finally have an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator who actually knows how to win games and win championships. And plus, you got the best head coach in college football history with Nick Saban. And a very high-powered offense and a very explosive defense. So, Georgia fans, if any of y'all are watching this video, there ain't going to be no three-peating this upcoming year because Alabama's going to come for y'all. We're going to stampede over y'all, and we're going to raise up our 18th national championship at the end of this year. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But, yes, I hope you guys are having an amazing Tuesday night. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot to talk about. Last week we talked about the AFC North and the AFC South. This upcoming week we're going to be previewing the AFC East and the AFC West. So, why am I still talking? Let's get into it. Oh, by the way, shout out to Ezra for rocking the one and only Bullet Club t-shirt.
Absolutely, man. It's a shirt that's always forevermore too sweet. Absolutely,
Sweet.
brother. And then, of course, with us, the other goof on this show, and that is, of course, the man himself, man who this show doesn't exist without him. Our boy from North Carolina. Man, this guy, he rants and raves more than Eddie Trunk when it comes to track bands and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But he doesn't do it for effect either. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my heavy metal brother from another mother, the one, the only Big Stevie Wyand. What's up, man?
That's right, because we do it live. Because we're live right now. No, this is not pre-recorded tracks being used in the background. No, these are our live voices that's coming through you right now, through your speakers, through your TVs, or however you watch YouTube these days, on your phone, on your computers, on your TV, whatever the case may be. We are here. We are live.
Even my lip syncing is better than Vince Neil.
Everybody's got a price for that. To pay, especially for faking it. But yeah, we are live to talk about the world of sports. And what the hell am I blabbering on? Let's get to it, baby.
Yeah, let's do it, man. We got a lot to get into, and let's start off with the world of. I mean, obviously, we're going to get into a lot of NFL talk with the AFC and West, AFC East, AFC West coverage here in a little bit, but obviously, we're going to say that towards the back end of the show. Obviously, let's get into the one of the biggest NFL news, and that is, of course, the suspension of Alvin Kamara. Of course, former Saints running back Alvin Kamara has been suspended for 3 games for an incident that happened in Las Vegas. It's been a long time coming for Mr. Kamara. We had no idea how long the suspension was going to be. There's been rumors that it was going to be longer, it was going to be shorter. We didn't know exactly. Well, that happens to a lot of people in that rumor. But that's what she said. Yeah, you would know. Anyways, a lot of people didn't know what to expect coming down from the pike from Roger Goodell and the NFL Players Association and kind of what the disciplinary actions would be. We knew that a suspension was coming, obviously, but we didn't know exactly how long. And we found out it's only going to be 3 games. The question I have for you, and I'm going to start off with you, Steven. Do you feel that the punishment fits the crime? Do you feel that with what Alvin Kamara did, Do you feel like you should have been suspended longer, or do you feel like that this is perfect for what it is?
Honestly, it could have been a little bit longer because I mean, when you look at what he did last year, he needed to be suspended for maybe 3 or 4 more games, at least 3 games. Because I mean, assault and battery and stuff like that, and being disruptive, in public and stuff like that can ruin your reputation, and and just, I mean, he honestly got very lucky that he did not get suspended longer, because if he did, then that could have been the Saints season right there in a nutshell, because if he would have been out for at least 5 to 6 weeks, especially 6, even longer, just Kamara and the Saints would have been in deep trouble. And I read a headline today that the Saints are looking for a veteran running back to possibly be there in Alvin's absence.
Nah, I don't see that as a bad idea at all. You're going to need a contingency plan for now until Alvin is able to get back from his legal troubles, obviously. So, I mean, the question for you, Steven, I noticed that there's probably are some pretty good veteran running backs that can still. I mean, they don't have to be perfect, obviously, but who do you feel could be a candidate that's a free agent right now, or maybe is in a little bit of a contract dispute and possibly underway out? Who do you feel that could fill that role for right now until Alvin's 3-game suspension has been served?
That's a good question. I mean, there are a couple of backs on the market. I mean, ooh, here's another new. There's another news that just came down the line a couple of days ago. Their second running back, I believe, Eno Benjamin, suffered an Achilles tear during practice a couple of days ago. So
yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yep. Oh, here's one, Steven. And this just came from 3 hours ago from Adam Schefter, who visited the Saints today. Kareem Hunt.
Oh, that would be a good one.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt visited the Saints today. He said it was a great visit. He's now on his way to Indianapolis to meet with the Colts tomorrow, but they had a great visit today, so who knows? That could be a candidate right there.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt would not be a bad addition. I mean, because his first year in Kansas City, he was good. And then obviously his years in Cleveland, he was excellent, with Nick Chubb. And but yeah, that's interesting. I did not know that Kareem Hunt, is a free agent. Like that is, it's interesting because he could go anywhere he wants now. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, the rumor is, or the report is, according to not only Adam Schefter, who said that they had a great visit, but according to Diana Rossini of ESPN, and it's, mind you, this is all just speculation. They feel that not only will Kareem Hunt sign with the Saints, but also Anthony Barr.
Ooh, Anthony Barr, the defensive player.
Yep, as long as they both pass physicals and are in good shape. That's what the report I just read on Adam Schefter's Twitter.
He took out, obviously, Aaron Rodgers with Minnesota in 2017.
Yeah. Yep.
So that'll be interesting to see what happens. Who can the Saints get? Because obviously this could be a blessing in disguise if New Orleans can get an additional running back who is a credible, presence on the field that can take the pressure off of Kamara. Because I mean, obviously the years that Alvin had with Mark Ingram, beside him, when the Saints had that last great team with Drew Brees and Michael Thompson and just having that running back deadly duo, like they tore up the league, over 1,000 yards rushing, both Kareem and Ingram had. I mean, just both great running backs, and obviously now New Orleans needs that additional help since Kamara is out for 3 games.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The Matt Hyper, Joey. What are your thoughts on the situation, and who do you feel on the free agent market is going to possibly would somebody like a Kareem Hunt be a good fit for right now in case Alvin Kamara does as he can or gets injured? How do you feel about who do you feel would fill that slot perfectly for now until Alvin's suspension has been served?
I mean, I definitely can see Kareem Hunt being a very, very viable option to be the primary back for New Orleans while Alvin Kamara is out with his suspension. Let me take a look at one thing real quick. But yeah, while I'm pulling this up, I mean, yeah, definitely Kareem Hunt could be a very viable option, especially since he has been part of the dual running back format that Cleveland has used alongside Nick Chubb for so many years. And Kareem Hunt, he also has some history of working with some of the best quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. And of course, one of them is, of course, the player who made it to the number one ranking in the NFL Top 100 list going into this year, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
How about this one, guys? I just read Leonard Fournette.
Oh, yeah, Leonard Fournette is definitely a viable option.
Yep. Yeah, I can see Leonard Fournette doing that too, obviously. You know, there are some viable options out there in free agency. It's just a matter of what are the, I mean, obviously the Saints are not going to be looking for specifically, you know, we're not looking for the next great guy who's going to take over when Alvin Kamara either retires or gets suspended again or something. But obviously, they're just looking for somebody to be a placeholder. But still, they also want somebody who's going to be there in case Alvin Kamara does get hurt or gets suspended again, because they want somebody who's going to be reliable. They want somebody who's going to be able to fill that slot and mean that the Saints will be able to make some noise even without Alvin there. And Alvin's obviously a big chunk of their offense. You know, you look at Alvin Kamara, who's been one of the top running backs in the entire league. You look at a guy like that, and, you know, obviously without him there, it's big blow to the Saints. But you bring in somebody like a Leonard Fournette, like a Kareem Hunt, who's has experience, has made big plays in the past. Maybe it depends on how, of course, it depends on their health. It depends on the consistency with the team. It depends on how they gel with the coaching and, you know, all those factors, obviously. But when it comes down to it, obviously you need somebody who's going to be able to take those runs, take those plays, those reps, and be able to do something with it. Obviously, I'm not expecting the Saints running game to be freaking, you know, like high level playoff contention. But when it comes to that, I'm hoping that they get somebody who is able to keep the Saints afloat for now until Alvin comes back.
Absolutely. And some other running backs that I can probably toss out there. But also, like you guys mentioned earlier, the fact that Kareem Hunt is on his way to visit Indianapolis. There was a news report that broke earlier today that even though Jonathan Taylor is having some contract issues, he has actually just checked himself into rehab for his knee that has been giving him some problems. So Indianapolis could also make a strong push for a running back, and some other key running backs that could find their way to, I would say, to bring themselves back. I would say one of them is Kenyon Drake.
Okay.
Good one.
Kenyon Drake could be a good name. And as much as it hurts me to say, because seeing as how this guy hasn't amounted to nothing over the past several years, maybe a new change of scenery could bring this guy back to normalcy. And that, of course, is the man who likes to sleep in Salvation Army pots, Ezekiel Elliott.
And apparently who is the next greatest center, just saying.
But yeah, I mean, obviously he wasn't the answer in Dallas. We all know that because the answer to that question is Tony Pollard for the time being. But maybe, just maybe, a change of scenery could benefit Ezekiel Elliott and possibly put him back on the map. It's going to take a monumental, it's going to take a huge monumental effort, but anything is possible.
Well, here's the difference between what Dallas needed at the time and what the Saints need now. The Saint look with this when it comes to the Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott is a pure running back. He's a 100% pure running back. Tony Pollard is a dual threat. He can play both running back and wide receiver. Obviously, when you have a guy who can play both positions, he's going to be more valuable than just a straight running back. Was Zeke the best running back in the world? Absolutely not. But wasn't horrible. He was not bad. He was good. He had some good moments, some good runs. He cut through pretty well. Obviously, he dealt with some injuries, and then when Tony Pollard was brought in, obviously, like I said, Tony Pollard brings that dual threat. He brings both the running back and wide receiver positions, which allows him to be more valuable. Hence why Zeke kind of got put on the back burner when he got injured. Could the change of scenery do him good? And could we see maybe Zeke come back? And look, we give Zeke a bunch of crap about the Salvation Army pod. He jumped in when he had scored a touchdown and all that and blah, blah, blah. But in reality, Zeke was brought in for a reason. Zeke was brought to the NFL for a reason. That's because he was a great running back. Is he still? I don't know. Maybe the change of scenery could make a difference. Maybe a new environment, maybe new coaching could make a difference. It just depends on the type of player he is and the type of work he's going to put in. Obviously, he's a veteran. He's not a young rookie anymore. So he has to, there's no second chances on trying to show what your worth is as far as your work ethic and your ability to, showcase what you have in front of these coaches, especially when you're a free agent like he is. So with that being said, who knows? That could be a possibility. I'm still leaning more towards Kareem Hunt getting it. Obviously, he's the favorite. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Zeke was a backup to Alvin Kamara. Like I said, if you have a pure running back, I think somebody like Kareem Hunt, somebody like him, would be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And just some other key smaller tier names that could possibly fit in other teams' running back markets. You got players such as J.D. McKissick, who was known as a great third down back for Washington whenever he was with the team. You got former New England Patriot and Houston Texan Rex Burkhead, who can also make a threat somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, this is the last name I'm going to bring up. A former Saint himself that could find his way to reunite with the team, and that, of course, is Mark Ingram.
That would be probably the best option. Obviously, it's different because it's a different system now that Sean Payton is no longer around. However, Mark Ingram is still valuable, and he knows the Saints. He knows the team. He knows the playbook. Yep, he knows the playbook. He could bring that veteran leadership to that team too, to a lot of guys who are younger. Obviously, we especially with a guy who has been there, done that, like he has. Obviously, that could help out tremendously. I mean, Steven, what are your thoughts on that?
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say that could be one. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many options. I mean, it could be any of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of options, but we'll see what happens. Anything's possible, man. And of course, if the news breaks anytime during the show, we will let you know. If not, we will talk about it next week as always.
Yes, we will.
That's what we're here for. But some quick other NFL news from the glorious mind of Mr. Adam Schefter. Some other quick news. Of course, we're going to get into, like I said, East and West AFC stuff will come a little bit later because we got other news we're going to get into, obviously, in other realms. Texas right tackle Titus Howard is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks, and that is due to undergoing surgery on his hand. Look, there is a good chance that he could be back for the September 10th regular season opener versus the Ravens. So,
a lot of injuries happening in the training camp part of, and not even a game has really been played since the Hall of Fame game.
Nope. No, unfortunately, but yeah, no, it's we're still waiting, of course, to hear more on words from a bunch of players. From unfortunately, some players blew out their Achilles, ACLs, of course, the big calf strain to Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unfortunate. Let's see. Also, it's a big hurt for the Texans to lose. Big hurt for Texans to lose Titus Howard until obviously the regular season doesn't start for a while, but
it's coming.
He just recently signed a $56 million extension. So, safety John Johnson III is signing a 1-year deal with the Rams. Yeah, John Johnson III. Let's see. Oh, yesterday, a happy belated birthday to Jalen Hurts. Wanted to get that in too. Happy birthday to Jalen, who turned 25.
He has barely even hit his prime yet. Like, he is that good. Good.
He is. He's beyond excellent.
And we'll see if he can lead Philadelphia back to the Super Bowl and be the first team besides Kansas City to reach back-to-back Super Bowls in the last 4 seasons, when they did it in 20 and 21.
Absolutely. Also, real quick, here is for your favorite team, Steven, your number 1 team, the man whose jersey will be hanging up on the wall.
That's debatable.
Oh, that's not debatable. Come on, man. It's the Panthers are going to get have reached an agreement to a 1-year deal with 4-time Pro Bowler linebacker Justin Houston.
How in God's name is he even still playing football? Like, me and Marks were talking about this the other night, and we were like, "You won't believe who signed with the Panthers." I'm like, "Who?" He said, "Justin Houston." I said, "Are you serious?" Like, he's been everywhere, it seems like. Like, I thought he retired. Like his name hasn't been coming up, obviously, because he's older, and I mean, it's a veteran, presence, in the locker room for Carolina. They need it. So good on them.
Well, the good news is Houston last year, he may have been 34 years old, but last year he played with Baltimore. He had 9.5 sacks last year in just 400 snaps.
Interesting.
So he has 111. He has 111 and a half sacks total in his career.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, so but that's where that's going. Oh, the Eagles have signed 2 linebackers to 1-year contracts, former Steelers linebacker Miles Jack and former Titans and Texas linebacker Zach Cunningham.
All right. Boosting up their defense a little bit.
Yep. Obviously, the NFL Hall of Fame happened. Here's a little stat for you. Notable first-time eligible players for the Pro Bowl class of 2024 include Eric Berry, Jamal Charles, Antonio Gates, Brandon Marshall, Haloti Ngata, and Julius Peppers.
Nice. Oh, some big names that could get into the Hall of Fame. I mean, like, noticeable names. I mean, obviously Antonio Gates being the basketball star that he was in college, and then he transforms to football and becomes one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. And, Brandon Marshall, just one of the most best receivers with hands, catching deep passes, catching the over the middle passes. I mean, just a great receiver. And Jamal Charles, obviously he was the first. To me, he was the next best player in Kansas City during all those years. With Matt Castle, and then Alex Smith was there with Jamal Charles. And if Charles didn't get injured, later on in his career, he really could have helped this team, gone further. But he's a hell of a player.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Yeah, Jamal suffered some pretty serious injuries and unfortunately couldn't continue play the game, obviously. But it's
That's the nature of the beast.
Yep, unfortunate. Like you said, Benjamin sidelined with a torn Achilles. You said that earlier in the show. Let's see. The Matthew Judon and the Patriots have agreed to a contract adjustment that'll take his original $2 million guaranteed money for 2023 to $14 million fully guaranteed in 2023. So the adjustment improved. The original 2021 deal allowed Judon to make up to $18 million this year. No new years were added at this time. Also, we want to wish the best to Steve Mongo McMichael.
Yes.
As many of us know, Steve, of course, is battling Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. He unfortunately was in an intensive care unit earlier last week due to sepsis developed. But he is doing the best he can. He's doing good. He's on antibiotics. But of course, we're all still fighting to get him into the Hall of Fame, hopefully before he passes on. Obviously, from this, still fighting though. He's a finalist. He's almost there. So hopefully the board gets their heads together and gets this man in before he unfortunately leaves us. So,
and I hope that he can get in before he passes, because like if it were me, I would put him in next year as soon as possible.
Oh, you no doubt.
Absolutely no doubt.
Here we go. Yep, here we go. Cowboys safety Malik Hooker has agreed to a 3-year contract extension worth of the $24 million that includes $8 million of a bonus paid, $8 million signing bonus paid in the next 15 days and $16.5 million guaranteed. The deal ties it with the team through 2026.
Nice.
Chiefs defensive lineman Charles Omenihu, suspended for his team's first 6 regular games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy, will be permitted to return to the Chiefs roster on October 13th in their Week 6 game against Denver.
Man, these players, they just never learn.
Speaking of another suspension that adds to that same day, Seahawks wide receiver Dwayne Eskridge was also suspended.
Jeez.
Let's see here. Anything else? Real quick. Oh, yeah. Probably the biggest revelation of the week was the news that there was a documentary that came out about Johnny Manziel. And Johnny Manziel said that after he had basically been exiled from football because of his off-the-field issues, he said he had thought about taking his own life.
I wonder why he's been kicked out of the league.
Well, obviously...
Them drugs will mess with you.
Yeah, and it's look, drugs, alcohol, whatever. It's when you deal with stuff like that, and you obviously, it depends on how well you handle the pressure. And Johnny Manziel obviously, unfortunately, didn't handle the pressure that well. And I'm a little bit more sympathetic, obviously, because that type of stuff, depending on your state of mind, will mess with you. Mm-hmm. And it messed with Johnny Manziel to the point where he thought he was going to end it all. And, it's unfortunate. It's, like we always say, mental illness is a real thing, or depression is a real thing. So we hope joking aside, we all hope Johnny Manziel's at peace. We hope he's doing okay. Yes, he had some off the field issues that, basically ruined his NFL career, but maybe he's learned from those mistakes. Maybe he's owned up to it. We don't know. We haven't seen or heard from him in years. He's been pretty much out of the spotlight ever since his career came to a halt. But obviously this documentary has this stuff coming to light now. And, you never know what these guys are thinking. Millions of dollars can hide even the darkest of times. So we wish Johnny Manziel the best, and we hope he's doing okay. obviously. But and then finally to wrap up some stuff here, Marlon Mack signed with the Arizona Cardinals, the veteran running back. Jeff Oduka from the Falcons, the cornerback, is going to have his ankle is going to be looked at. He suffered a apparent leg injury a few days ago, had to be carted off the field, which has become a new thing now. Speaking of New Orleans earlier, their defensive and their Cameron Jordan landed a 2-year, $27.5 million contract extension.
Nice.
Absolutely. So he's going to be sticking around.
Great player. Great defensive player.
Absolutely, one of the best defensive ends in the game today.
Absolutely.
He deserves to get paid.
Yep. The top available defensive free agent, defensive Yannick Ngakui, has signed a 1-year, $10.5 million deal with $10 million guaranteed with the Chicago Bears. Ooh.
Yeah, speaking of Chicago, if my facts are correct, y'all got another old timey player who's joining y'all for an 18th season, Mr. Mercedes Lewis.
Yes, the former Green Bay Packer has now joined Chicago.
And the former Jaguar. He is a journeyman. He has been everywhere, just like
he's finally joined the good side, hadn't he, Ezra?
Yes, he has. He came to the light. He came to the Jedi.
Sometimes darkness will show you the light.
Yes, it will.
Not darkness. There's no light.
Love that song.
I knew you'd pop at that one. One of my favorite songs off that Urker, by the way.
Yes.
But yes, definitely. I like that signing. Mercedes Lewis, I love that. I thought that was a great pick by Chicago. Brings veteran leadership, a guy who knows it, has been there, seen it. And that's what we need that we need that veteran leadership. That's what we need. There's a lot of young guys on that team, obviously. We got a lot of guys from free agency, we got a good amount of guys off the draft. So we need a veteran leader who's going to come in there and help. Insert Mercedes Lewis, who's been there and done that. So very happy about that pick. Also, real quick, Nick Bosa's $50,000 per day fines for missing training camp are rescindable by the 49ers because he's still on his rookie contract.
Ha! Nice.
Zach and Chris Jones are not on rookie contracts and are carrying non-rescindable $50,000 per day fines. So no rush for Nick Bosa.
Nope, no rush at all.
Nope.
He knows how to play the field, and he knows that for sure. In more than one way, obviously. Outside of the of course, Jonathan Taylor stuff and Javonte Williams for the Broncos is going to play more than likely this at the start of the season, according to Sean Payton. And that's about it. The Colts have signed former Packers and Texas wide receiver Amari Rodgers and waived wide receiver Johnny King.
Interesting.
So, yeah. But that's pretty much it on the big signings. And here we go. One more, Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, he is limited at practice with a toe injury. And Cooper Kupp went under an MRI for his hamstring injury.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen something about Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
One other thing I feel like we need to talk about, because if I remember correctly, this happened after the show went off the air last week. Joe Burrow having to be sidelined several weeks because of that lower calf injury.
Yeah, well, I think that news broke before the show ended. I think it was like Monday or Tuesday. We were discussing in our group chat. But
Yeah.
we didn't get the severity of the injury and how long he would be out.
Yeah, so he's going to be sidelined several weeks because of that lower calf injury.
Well,
But
at least it's only a couple weeks.
yeah, about to say, the coach has done say he should be ready to go by week 1.
Good. They cannot afford to lose Joe Burrow. That is the heart of that.
No.
Especially, yeah, definitely not. Especially since he checked in at number 6 in the NFL's top 100 player list.
Yeah, obviously, yep.
And obviously Mahomes is number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, well, actually, that's it for the NFL. So for right now, let's get into some NBA news. Obviously, we got some NBA stuff to talk about. And the big
Hey, let's talk about our favorite toy, why don't we?
T-O-Y.
years of academy training wasted. All right.
He's a child's plaything.
If you don't know, now you know. And that is that Anthony Davis has signed a unbelievable mega deal with the good old with
LA Lakers.
the Lakers, that team. He signed a massive extension. The deal for that is it's worth up to 186 million and bringing his current deal to about 270 million dollars.
I hope they got enough. I hope they got 270 million reasons to keep repairing him. Oh my goodness! Like he is constantly on the shelf. I mean, he's not a flying toy. He's not he's not no space ranger. He's a basketball player.
Anthony Davis would look at you and be like, "You are a sad, strange little man."
Yes, and as I mentioned, while he was signing that contract, he broke his hands, and now he has to be on the show for another 2 months.
Somebody should have popped up and said, "So we meet again, Anthony Davis, for the very last time."
Oh God.
Oh,
apparently I
God.
missed something because our boy Randy gave his predictions on
Oh
me.
dear God.
Oh no.
I'm looking through and I don't see it, but
I see it. He has.
hold on. Wait. We gotta wait till the prediction show.
I know, but
Gotta wait till we do the predictions in a few minutes.
oh my gosh, this is.
Okay.
Oh boy.
As they say in the radio business, it's called a tease, and I love it.
Yep, obviously.
Yeah, this will be quite a kick.
Okay.
All right. Back to Anthony Davis. Look, I understand. I understand why. Obviously, Anthony Davis, when he's healthy, is valuable to the team. He's a good shooter. He can help out. Is he the best player to ever live? Obviously not. But in reality, when you think about it, Anthony Davis is, he's valuable in the sense that he's, like I said, he's a great shooter, big guy, can run the floor, great at defense. He can do all that. So,
Yes.
obviously, he wants to make big money, go get it.
I mean,
Yeah, Anthony Davis is definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed, and he can make plays when he wants to, but and yes, he might be seen as one of the best players right now in the NBA, especially at his position, but he just really needs to step up his game, and by that, I mean actually be on the court and not be on the bench nursing an injury.
knee injuries, back injuries, ankle injuries, shoulder injuries,
Hand injuries, arm injuries. You name it, he's had it.
He could walk on the court and limp, just like Kevin Nash did, walks across the ring and limps. Back in his day when he used to wrestle, and he tore his quads. I mean, if Anthony Davis was to walk on the basketball court and try to do a full sprint, he probably would tear both his quads. I mean, that's how fragile his body is. Like when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in the league. But when he's not healthy, the Lakers are at their worst. Because LeBron James is going into his 20th season?
Yep, this is his
crazy.
20th season coming up.
LeBron he's been through the trenches many a times. LeBron is no spring chicken anymore. He's not that 18, 20-year-old kid in the prime of his
Father
career.
Time is slowly starting to catch up to him.
38 years old, and he's been in the league so long. What does LeBron have to prove? He's done it all. He's won 4 championships. He's the all-time scoring leader in NBA history. I mean, he made it to the Western Conference Finals, for a second time with the Lakers last year, and they lost, to the Nuggets. But the reason why the Lakers got to where they were at last year, primarily, in my opinion, was because of Anthony Davis. Because Anthony Davis last year went on this unbelievable stretch where he was scoring and he was rebounding. He was getting like 20, 25, sometimes 30 rebounds. Like, that is unheard of by today's standards in basketball. And when he is healthy, we joke a lot on him. We're hard on him a lot on here. All jokes aside, but when he is healthy, Anthony Davis is one of, if not the best current big men in NBA history. I mean,
oh yeah, for sure.
He's got a complete game. He can drive, he can shoot the mid-range jumper, he can post up on the block, he makes offensive players think about even coming near him because they know he's going to meet you at the apex of the rim and block your shot. And Anthony Davis, it's just, he's an incredible specimen, but only when he is healthy. And that's the biggest criteria that a lot of us have on him, because we joke on him and we're also being truthful. He can't stay healthy. I mean, he just can't. He's always been injury prone. Always.
And he's always going to be injury prone because as these players are getting older, their bodies just can't really handle all of that anymore. I mean, all these players that were such young studs back in the day, and you're talking about players such as Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, Kevin Durant. I mean, all of these hotshot young guns back in the day, they were lighting it up on the court, 75, 80, heck, even a full 82-game season plus the playoffs. But the one thing about life is that you're not getting any younger, and that is the mantra for these players right now. I mean, I understand that they're trying to give it their all the time, but you got to face the facts, man. You can't play this game forever. I mean, think. Think of all the players that you and I grew up watching, Steven, that are either on the tail ends of their careers or not playing the game anymore and have switched to other roles. Players such as Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Michael Jordan, sadly, even though he's not on this earth anymore, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, these are players that definitely Tim Duncan, David Robinson,
Tony Parker.
These were players that, Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, these were players that we grew up watching.
We could keep going down the list of athletes across all the sports. Derek Jeter. I mean,
Derek Jeter, Chipper Jones, Mariano Rivera,
Albert Pujols. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, across every sport. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, these were players that we grew up watching when we were in our child, preteen, and teenage years. But now they're all either at the tail end of their careers, if not already, or they're of course just not playing the game anymore. And the same can be said for those players: Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo retired.
Exactly. I mean, Dwayne Wade's not even playing the game anymore. He's done called it a career. So
I
I
mean,
mean,
when you look at the athletes that are still in this game playing, like LeBron. LeBron is the biggest thing that we can talk about because LeBron came in this league at 18 years old with the Cleveland Cavaliers as the number one overall draft pick. And Anthony Davis came into this league, 11, 12 years ago when New Orleans, at the time, the New Orleans Hornets, later the New Orleans Pelicans. And
yeah.
Anthony Davis and LeBron have walked similar paths, to get to where they are in their career. And, and LeBron, may be the de facto leader as far as playing 4 out of 5 positions on the court. But Anthony Davis he's the motor. He's the motor that keeps that engine going, because who would have thought that a big man would be the focal point of your team? And signing that contract, I mean, good for him. He's getting his money, but I mean, he's only worked this contract if and only if he can stay healthy. And I mean, it just goes to show you that last year, the Lakers were outnumbered against Denver in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, they were
definitely outnumbered.
decimated, destroyed by the bench players, by the star players, by the role players, by everybody on that team. They outcoached them, they outplayed them, and they were more focused.
I mean, Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, they looked at the Lakers and their star-studded lineup of LeBron and Anthony Davis, and they're like, "We ain't scared of y'all."
We got 2 people who are younger than y'all, and we're better than you guys.
Absolutely, and you guys beat us back in that Mickey Mouse bubble back in 2020. It's time for us to get our revenge.
And they did.
So we ain't scared of y'all. You can throw
Anthony Davis
you want at us, but unlike 2020, we'll be ready because for one thing, I don't have a torn ACL that's not hindering me from playing anymore. I'm going to go out there and give it my all.
Exactly.
That's exactly what he did.
And Anthony Davis, he was healthy for the first 2 rounds in last year's playoffs, but by the time he got to Denver in the Western Conference Finals, he was just running out of gas. Again. And LeBron was falling apart at the seam. I mean, just he couldn't move, at times.
No.
Like he couldn't move with the same speed, that he's always operated over the years. He's not running like he used to. And I tell you what took a lot of years off of his career, the constant trips to the NBA Finals.
Yes.
That took a lot out of him. He went to, 8 consecutive NBA Finals?
I believe you are correct, sir.
Yes.
You are correct.
11, 12, 13, 14. Yep. 8 consecutive finals from 11 to 18. 4 with Miami and 4 with Cleveland.
Yep.
10 overall.
And he is 4 and 6.
4. Yep.
4 and 6.
Not good. But records don't mean nothing as long as you have a championship.
Records don't mean nothing.
I mean, this Lakers team last year, they were pretty solid. They made a run, and they got it done. They shocked us all. We didn't think they were going to go to the Western Conference Finals, and that was all because of Anthony Davis. He was the primary reason why they got there, and the role players showed up as well. But now this Lakers team is a different looking team this year. It's not the same team that was there last year. Some of the pieces are still there, but LeBron and Anthony Davis are still the primary, pieces to this team. But they don't have a complete team. They have some good players, but it'll be interesting to see how they do.
And Steven, just real quick before Ezra comes back to move on to the next subject, what is the one thing that we have talked about when it comes to building franchise teams, regardless of what sport it is? It doesn't matter how many star players you have on that team. It does not matter. The one thing that will get you far is a strong, reliable, and dependent. What's that word?
Team.
Starts with a B. A bench.
A bench.
A strong,
A bench.
reliable, dependent bench.
A bench.
Unless you have that reliable bench on your roster that can provide as much relief to all these star players as possible, you ain't getting nowhere. I mean, why do you think Denver and Milwaukee and heck, even Golden State, those past 3 NBA championship teams, why do you think they were able to go so far into the playoffs and eventually win their respective championships in their respective seasons? Because of that strong bench that they had to help out those star players. Because star players can't do it by themselves.
That's right.
They can try, but it's not going to yield positive results every single time. So you got to have that reliable bench in order to go far in the playoffs, no matter what sport you play.
Yep. I mean, when you look at this offseason, there's been some big moves, and a lot of teams have shifted. Different teams are looking very different. The Celtics are looking different. Miami's looking different. The Lakers are looking different. This will be an interesting NBA season when the season kicks off in October.
Absolutely.
Oh boy, I cannot wait when we get. I cannot wait when we get to the AFC picks.
Yeah, because Randy's picks are an absolute.
Oh my God! I'm just reading it now. Randy. Randy.
Sir.
Yes, sir. How dare you? What you said is blasphemy. How dare you? You know what, Randy? You're funny. You're funny.
We all love you, Randy.
Randy, we love you, but you might be smiling with them picks, but you are seriously on some major drugs.
Hey, if anything, I do see one of those records happening, but in opposite fashion. And of course, I'm talking about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, I've heard the term planet delusional. I really think planet delusional exists because Randy obviously is the king of planet delusional.
Oh, but
we're gonna have a field day when we get to this one. Yes.
But the one thing that kind of is surprising to me is the fact that he's picking the team to win the division that his favorite quarterback is partial owner of.
You know what, Randy? I'm pretty sure your father, Mr. William Gyron, has always said to you when you've acted like a bad child, go to your room and think about what you just done. I want you to sit right there with your fingers on that keyboard, sir, on your phone. And I want you to sit there with Sprocket. I want you to sit there with your precious little cat. And I want you to think about what you just typed. You might as well just say that Saint Anger is the best Metallica album, period. Or even better, you could have said that Lulu, godforsaken Lulu, is the greatest Metallica album created to mankind.
Steven, we've gotten word from the Our Nation Sports Show officials that you have been terminated from the program.
You might as well said that those were the 2 best Metallica records, period. Oh, dear.
We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors.
Hey Randy, call us later this season when your Raiders are absolutely at the bottom of the dumpster fire, burning in a blaze of glory, or should we say shame?
So I was gone for a little bit. I had to take care of some business. What are you guys discussing right now? Because my unfortunately my stuff was on mute at the time.
We were talking about
just finished up talking about the discussion in regards to NBA. We actually just finished up a couple minutes ago.
Okay, cool.
We were just doing some candids real quick.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, let's get into some other stuff real quick. Obviously, we're gonna have Hijacker on close to the end of the show. That's another thing we forgot to mention. Is our boy Hijacker Mike will be joining us towards the end of the show today to talk a little Unite the Bay, to give us a little things here and there, and also, of course, to talk about the Earl Spence Jr. Terrence Crawford fight.
I'm sorry, just reading that comment just made me die with laughter. I am in denial with the owner. I don't want to talk about the owner. I'm in denial. Great. Continue, Ezra.
So he is denial.
Thank you. Seven Dust has arrived.
Yes, it has. I decided Seven Dust reference. But
no, Randy, not with my Panthers.
Yeah.
Your Panthers are the team to beat.
Yeah, but I do want to bring up just something that bro just a little less than or almost an hour ago.
Yeah.
The main event of UFC 293 has been announced. It is going to be Israel Adesanya defending his UFC middleweight title against Sean Strickland on September 9th down in the land down under known as Sydney, Australia.
Wow.
That's going to be a good That's going to be a really good fight. I'd definitely check that out. Whether you watch it in a movie theater, whether you watch it at your local Buffalo Wild Wings, definitely check it out. Should be an awesome fight for a guy who is absolutely one of the baddest fighters on the planet, Israel Adesanya, who's been pretty much unstoppable since he won the championship. So, great news, Joey. But you know what? It's 7:03. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for coverage and review of the divisions. And of course, today is the AFC East and the AFC West. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with football, of course, the AFC East includes the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots, and the New York Jets. We got that to look forward to. Then the AFC West, obviously, the Denver Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Chargers. All but the Chiefs, dumpster fire. No, I'm kidding. Maybe not, but let's start off with the AFC East, obviously. And of course, the AFC East, like we said, murderer's row of teams in that one with I'm going to start off with of course, Buffalo. Buffalo, to me, the favorite to win this whole damn thing. Obviously, they made some additions. Obviously, got some additions in the draft to help them out and in the free agency. But the biggest key story is, of course, the return of Damar Hamlin, who will be 100% healthy and ready to go. Damar Hamlin will be back in his first preseason game coming up, and of course, will be back hopefully for the whole season, barring any setbacks. The return of number 3, returning Mr. 3 himself, Damar Allen, coming back to the team, obviously for Buffalo, which is a huge deal. Josh Allen, of course, just an absolute weapon of weapons with his cannon of an arm. Great football IQ as a quarterback. That team is not just built, but grown to win championships. And they will. I guarantee you, before that team at its current point is done, I guarantee you, they will all be wearing Super Bowl rings. some way, somehow. Obviously Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins have been doing pretty well. Obviously, the one factor that is, of course, major is, of course, Ryan Tannehill. Obviously, they're dealing with injury issues as well.
You mean Tua?
Yeah, Tua. Well, Tua. Whoever. I don't give a fuck who's the quarterback there. Well, hopefully Tua is healthy enough to actually stay in. Obviously, we know about his issues with concussions and head trauma. So, to me, that's one of the biggest key factors: is Tua going to stay healthy, if he can even return back to the football field to play? Because obviously, we know about concussions and how they're not a joke. So, that's one of the big key factors. And then of course, the Jets, obviously, who have added firepower in the form of Aaron Rodgers, Alan Lazard. Just that team is just an absolute, possibly adding soon Devontae Adams as well. So, dude, this offense is lethal. And if Aaron Rodgers plays like he usually plays, and that team can stay healthy, and that team can be well, Buffalo might have a little bit of a run for their money to get to the top of that division. So, and New England is New England. I mean, unfortunately, they got some key players, but you look at who you got. You got Mac Jones. You got Mac Jones at quarterback. Obviously, you Ty Montgomery, Ramondre Stevenson, Pierce Strong Jr., Juju Smith-Schuster. They have a decent team, but I think they're going to be at the bottom of the division, unfortunately, because I just think the other three teams on there have firepower in their respective camps. I think it's going to be a tough one to call it. Who in that? I think Buffalo obviously is going to be the standout. They're going to probably have I'm going to give them 11 wins, 12 wins maybe. I think they'll have a really good season. It's a tough one. I think I'm going to give the Jets second place. Obviously, because of a veteran quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. You have some of his former teammates who are now back with him. Obviously, familiarity with his teammates. The new system may be a change for him, because obviously he didn't agree with Matt LaFleur and the way he built that team. So, maybe with this coach he can change things around. But obviously, we don't know what free agency still holds. Obviously, we're still away, so they could still sign people like Devontae Adams if they want, and add more firepower to their offense. So I have them winning. I have them probably winning. I don't want to put them too high. I'll probably give them 10 games, maybe 11 if they can pull it off. And then I will give Miami maybe 9. 9 as long as Tua stays healthy. If they can stay healthy, I'll give them 10. They'll be close, right up there. And then New England, I give them probably 7 wins, just because I think that team, while they have some good players, I just don't think the structure around them is going to be enough to garner them any top placing within the NFL elite.
Yeah, I think Buffalo, this is their division to lose, and they have a ton of pressure on them now, because they're already 5 years in, as far as a legitimate threat in the AFC conference, and the Bills still have not made the Super Bowl with this team, with Josh Allen at the helm as their quarterback. And they almost got to the title game 3 seasons ago, but 13 seconds was just too much for Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City to get the job done. And they beat Buffalo by a touchdown in overtime. Yeah. And then obviously last year, the DeMar Hamlin situation and the remarkable recovery that Hamlin, made, and he's making a full recovery. And also, like we reported last week on the show, DeMar is back at playing football fully, and good for him. That he is not afraid to play the game of football that he loves. And I mean, Buffalo should win this division, but they have two teams that are hot on their trails. And the first big test is the first game of the season, right out of the gate on Monday Night Football with Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. And the Jets, to me, they might be the hot pick to possibly go all the way, but I don't think the New York Jets are going to be making it that far. Now, however, if they make it to the conference championship game, I will eat crow, and we will eat crow, because, I mean, Rodgers has got a lot to learn with this team. New playbook. Yes, some familiar weapons on this team with him now.
Put plenty of ketchup on that crow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, put plenty of ketchup on that crow so it tastes good, you know. You know, it reminds me the other day I squirted ketchup in my eye. Now I have hindsight.
Bruh.
Bro.
Sorry.
Wow. Just wow. I mean, the Jets, they have a decent team on paper, but the results is what counts on the field. And Miami, real quick, I think the Jets are going to be, like you said, number 2. I got the Jets winning 10 games. I got Buffalo winning 11. Miami, if Tua can stay healthy, I say 10. If he doesn't stay healthy, 9. New England, they will be at the bottom of the barrel in this division. I honestly think they're going to go 6-10.
Wow, 6-10. Wow. Pretty interesting.
All right. Well,
I'm sorry, 6-11.
yeah, there you go. 6-11. Since
So they're not
it's
even going to
17.
show up for the last.
Yeah, but Randy also has jokes here because he gave his AFC East predictions.
Oh, God.
I saw it.
He's still showing a lot of bitter hate towards the New England Patriots. He has them going 0-17.
What?
Yes. He's got Ezra's favorite quarterback team, which is the Jets, going 10-7. He has the Fins going 11-6, and the Bills at 12-5.
Okay, at least some of his picks are legit, and some of his picks are just out of pure hate.
All right, so
Some would say
here's
they're
my-
aesthetics of hate.
Well,
Here's
Steve,
my
I hope you burn in hell for that comment. Dude, that pick on the Patriots from him, dude, that is about as real. That is about as real as freaking Vince Neil's vocal track.
Oh God!
Screw that. That's about as real as Cardi B's vocal track during Las Vegas's concert.
Yeah.
Or Dua Lipa when she dropped the mic.
And her vocal track was still going through the PA.
Anyways, Joey.
But yeah, here's my picks.
God.
So obviously, and I'm going from bottom to top.
Okay.
New England is going to be the bottom of the barrel. They are going to be the bottom of the barrel because Tom Brady is long gone. Bill Belichick has been having trouble finding the win column. Mac Jones,
Who?
I would say I expect him to step up a little bit this season. If he wants to keep the Patriots to be as competitive as they need to be, I expect Mac Jones to step up fully, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Even with Juju Smith-Schuster joining the Patriots, I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, real quick, Joey, I think what Mac Jones needs to do is don't make stupid plays like the Patriots did against the Raiders.
Yeah, I believe
it. It cost them the game.
I believe it. But my number 3 team, and you guys are going to be surprised at this, even though he has a new team to call home, I am still not believing this whole New York saga. I had the Jets in 3rd place this season. I think it's going to be very tough between Miami and the Jets to see who is going to take second place in that division and who's going to walk away with third place. But the Dolphins, to me, they have a much better team on paper as compared to the Jets. Yes, quarterback-wise, Miami is a little uncertain right now because of Tua's recent head injuries and concussions that he's had that almost drew him out, that almost took him out of the game for his entire career last season. But Tua said he feels 100%. He's ready to go. The Dolphins made some moves on the offensive line to give Tua more protection. So, honestly, I think it's going to be the Jets in third place and the Dolphins in second. I said the Patriots are going to go, I'll say 6-11. The Jets, I'm going to go 10-7. The Dolphins, I'm going to go 11-6.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, that leaves one team left, and that is the Buffalo Bills. This Buffalo Bills team is once again going to repeat as the AFC East champions because they have just an explosive team on both sides of the ball. Offense, defense, and special teams. They are truly legit once again on this go-around. So there is no doubt in my mind that Buffalo is going to find a way to win the AFC East once again. And I think that the Buffalo Bills are going to finish with a record of 14-3. I think they're going to finish 14-3. And yes, like you guys mentioned, Buffalo has had a problem going to the Super Bowl because you're playing in a conference that also has the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs, which we're going to be talking about here in just a little bit. But I can personally guarantee you, if you were to take this entire Buffalo team, offense, defense, and special teams, and put them in the NFC, I can just about guarantee you that Buffalo would have about 2, maybe 3 Super Bowl championships. That just lets you know that the AFC is a far more competitive division than the NFC is. Now, obviously, if Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills were in the NFC, of course they would run into the San Francisco 49ers. We all know that.
Yes.
But Buffalo would definitely have far more success in the NFC than they would in the AFC. But that's just my opinion.
Sorry. I just read that comment that Randy posted. Vince still said kickstart my heart. No, really. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I almost broke your concentration, but go ahead.
It's all right, but that's just my opinion. Ezra, you're on mute.
Well, it would only make sense. It only makes sense I'd be on mute.
At least when he was speaking, there was no pre-recorded tracks.
Nope. Oh, no, it's silent. It's silent. It's silent like the dream I had last night that I was swimming in orange soda. It was a fantasy.
Dude.
There you go. One more.
Dude.
Wow.
All right, let's get into the AFC West now after that uncomfortable dad joke. I haven't done any dad jokes in weeks on this show, so fuck off, Joey.
Absolutely, but I think we can all get started with Randy's prediction.
That's what I was getting ready to, my man.
Yeah, he's got the Chefs at 1-16, the Donkeys at 2-15, the Bulbs at 2-15, and the Raiders at 7-11.
That is the
Wow.
biggest hunk of crap I've read in my life.
Oh man. And of course he's still showing love to
Dude.
and of course he's still showing love to the Las Vegas Raiders, even though his all-time favorite quarterback, Tom Brady, is now partial owner.
His picks blindside me more than Ndamukong Suh does to his players. Oh my Lord! Lord in
Stomp,
heaven.
stomp
Oh,
that one.
Oh, we love you, Randy.
Yeah, stomp that 442. Anyways, the right here, Steven understood that reference.
Oh, yes, I did.
For those of you who don't know, Stomp 442 is an album by Anthrax that is very maligned. Anyway,
Mid.
yeah, it's very mid. MJF would agree. This is a division to absolutely lose. I swear to God. All these teams except for the Kansas City Chiefs are absolute hot garbage. I've played with Uno hands that are better than three-quarters of these teams.
Dang.
I've listened to half decent records that are better than these teams.
This is creeping up to Saint Anger levels of bad. This is how bad three-quarters of this division is complete and utter hot fucking garbage.
You got a team like the Los Angeles Chargers that you can't even trust with your life on the line. I mean, Brandon Staley he proved that to a literal T in the postseason last year against Jacksonville, up 27-0, and they still blew the game.
Then you've got the Raiders, who they overpaid their head coach, who is a cancer to that organization, who is literally eating that organization from the inside out, not just money, but the team. Hence why Devontae Adams wants to get the fuck out of there as humanly possible to get back to go play with his boy AR-12.
And you know what's bad? What makes it even worse? The Raiders can't even get rid of their head coach.
Yeah, they're chained to him for a long time.
Till at least until the end of this upcoming season.
I feel bad for the Raiders.
No, actually, no. I'm sorry. The next 2 seasons.
Oh, yeah. 2 more seasons of hell. Welcome to football hell, Las Vegas. I mean, you got Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback. He's the next.
I mean, Jimmy G, he's decent. I will give
He
that. I
is
will give
decent.
that.
Donkeys are
he is
negative
decent.
2 and 15. According to Randy, donkeys are negative 2 and 15.
Wait a
negative
minute. They're not -1?
No, because -1 is actually cool.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Jimmy G, as long as he stays on the field, he's decent, but he's nowhere near the level of your Burrows, Jacksons, Allens, and Mahomes. Not even close.
No.
Garoppolo, when he is healthy and he's not tearing his ACL, he's a hell of a talent.
Absolutely.
But you went from San Francisco, a team that has been winning when their team has been healthy. In 3 out of the last 4 seasons, they went to the Super Bowl. They were a play away from getting back to the Super Bowl with Garoppolo at the helm. So we know Garoppolo can get it done. And Garoppolo last year, up until he had his injury before Brock Purdy came in and played pretty damn good, I must say, Garoppolo, up until the injury to his foot, he was having a hell of a run. I'm like, okay, Jimmy Jesus is back. You know, he's playing great. He's throwing the ball great to George Kittle and Ayuk, you know, and everybody, you know, and Run CMC was getting the job done with him at quarterback, you know, and they were looking good. And, you know, and Debo Samuel doing Debo things and running people over, trucking, juking, you know, catching, blocking, running the whole 9 yards. I mean, Garoppolo, when he's healthy, he's good, but my goodness gracious, You go from heaven straight to hell, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders. They are a literal dumpster fire. Burning organization. And Mark Davis is the biggest cancer to any organization right now, honestly, in football, more so than Jerry Jones. At least we know Jerry Jones is a continuation of overhype. Mark Davis is even worse than Jerry Jones. He's worse than Jim Irsay. Mark Davis is the epitome of failure in the NFL. And I do not blame Davante Adams for wanting to get the hell out of Sin City, because he'll do whatever he's got to do to get out of there, because he knows that this team is done. Because honestly, the AFC West is the Chiefs' division to lose. They are the defending Super Bowl champions for a reason. You got Mahomes, you got Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. Those three dudes leading that football team can win with anybody. Because when you look at these two Chiefs Super Bowl championship teams, one had great weapons at receiver. And then this team had great players like Mahomes and Kelce and great role players to complete the team, just like with the Nuggets in the NBA. And in the AFC West, you got the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert, he's a hell of a quarterback, but he doesn't have a winning organization. He doesn't have a consistent head coach. Brandon Staley has become a cancer. He's become a laughingstock. He has become the epitome of absolutely being a succubus to the organization of the Chargers. If you thought San Diego could leave and go to Los Angeles and they couldn't out-charger the Chargers, well, my friends, the Los Angeles Chargers have out-chargered San Diego, because Brandon Staley is the epitome of failure as a head coach. He can't get it done. He won't get it done because he's not a leader among men. He is not the chosen guy to be a leader, because he panics. He panics in big situations. And the Denver Broncos, on paper, look, Sean Payton's a good coach, but he hasn't coached in a couple of years. And Russell Wilson last year was cooking nothing but shit, cooking nothing but horse shit in that kitchen Chef Wilson was doing. The Denver Donkeys absolutely sucked last year, and I don't think they're going to be that good because, as we all know, the Broncos receiving corps took a huge blow with one of the receivers having yet again another ACL injury. And the Broncos, if Peyton and Wilson can, coexist and get on the same page, maybe Denver can be a 10-win team. But in my order, I got Kansas City running away with this division. I got them winning 13 games. I got Denver winning 5. No, the hell with that. Scratch that. Las Vegas is going to be a 4-win team. They are going to win 4 games. How do you like me now, Randy Gyron? How do you like me now? With your favorite owner, Tom Brady, being a partial owner to the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Raiders will finish last with 4 wins. The Los Angeles Chargers will barely miss the playoffs by the skin of their teeth, going 9-8. And the Denver Donkeys are going to be an 8-win team.
Joey?
Oh, well, there's not more I can say to that other than the fact that this is definitely Kansas City's division to lose, because as long as Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are at the forefront of this Kansas City offense, there's no doubt in my mind that the Chiefs are going to be seen as the team that's going to rule once again in the AFC West. So I can see the Chiefs walking away with, you know what, I'm going to give them the same record as I did Buffalo, 14-3. I think it's very doable for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. In second place, I'm going to go the Los Angeles Chargers. Because the Chargers are definitely a team that cannot be overlooked. But they also cannot be a team that can be underlooked also. Because, yes, they do have Brandon Staley as their head coach. And, yes, they did choke a 27-0 lead in the wild card playoffs last year. But this Chargers team can still be a threat if they choose to be. Do I think they're going to challenge Kansas City very closely? No, not really. But I can see the Chargers giving it their all with Justin Herbert getting his extension and, of course, Austin Eckler being one of the best running backs in the AFC division itself. So I would say the Chargers, I would give them maybe 11-6. In third place,
Randy.
in third place, I'm actually gonna go with the Denver Broncos. It's gonna be close, mainly because Russell Wilson actually has a head coach now named Sean Payton, who actually knows how to coach the game. Yes, Sean Payton has been out of the NFL for a few years. We get that. But to me, it seems like being an NFL head coach, as long as you have the experience, it's something that really never leaves your system. Because even though Sean Payton wasn't on team or even though he hasn't been on team sidelines over the past couple of seasons, there's still no doubt in my mind that he is still a top-notch head coach. Now, is he going to have some work to do in Denver? Oh, absolutely. Because Denver was playing like absolute crap last season. We all saw it. So Sean Payton definitely has some work to do in Denver, but I think it's going to be enough to at least give Denver third place. And as far as record-wise, I will say I'm going to say either 9-8 or 8-9. It's going to be one of those two. And of course that leaves, sorry Randy, but the Las Vegas Raiders in last. Yes, the Raiders do have Jimmy Garoppolo. Yes, they do have Devontae Adams. But Devontae Adams, as we all know, wants out of Vegas. The reason why, I mean, I'm sure there's more to the story than what we have been seeing on social media as to why Devontae Adams wants out. But in all seriousness, I mean, the Raiders, I don't see this as a bad season for Vegas. I see this as more of a rebuilding year. Because the Raiders do have a lot of holes on the team. They do. Especially on defense. They have a lot of holes to fill in that defense. So I see this as an opportunity for the Raiders to really rebuild and possibly make their way up to second at one point in the AFC West in a few years. But as I mentioned earlier, as long as Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are playing for Kansas City, they'll find a way to get first place every time. But yeah, I see this as more of a rebuilding year for Vegas because, yeah, they have had some struggles since moving from Oakland to Las Vegas. They have. And it always hurts to see one team struggle as bad as they do. But of course, me being a Washington fan, which we're going to be talking about the NFC East here in the next few weeks, it's always hilarious to see Dallas struggle because they suck. But anyways, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother week. But yeah, I mean, I see this more as a rebuilding year for Vegas. And yes, the so-called greatest of all time, Tom Brady, is partial owner for the Las Vegas Raiders. But it just doesn't change the fact that unless he goes out on the field and plays for Vegas, they're not going to amount to nothing this year.
No.
I'm sorry.
And no, Randy, and no, Randy, to add to your comment, no, I am not on drugs. Those drugs are bad. Okay.
Yeah, drugs are bad.
And real quick, before you continue, Ezra, Hijacker Mike will be joining us towards the end of the show.
Yep.
Because he is at the Oakland Athletics baseball game.
Yep, he'll be joining us live with some Unite the Base stuff, and he'll be joining us also to talk about the Terrence Crawford Errol Spence Jr. fight. So he'll be out here to talk a few minutes towards the end of the show. That's why I'm going to go ahead and get my predictions in pretty quickly here, so that way we can leave a little bit of time for when Hijacker does show. So obviously, Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to rule this division. Obviously, I give them 12 wins. Rest of it's pretty much a crapshoot. You could go either way with any of these people. I'm going to give probably Denver. I'll give them like 9-8. The Chargers, I'm going to give them 8-9. That's being generous. And then the Raiders, I think they're going to be 5-12. I just think that there's too many problems going on over there, and the team just can't seem to gel enough and put all the shit aside for the greater good. I think overall it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be a rebuilding year, but also hopefully prepping for the future for when eventually Josh McDaniels is no longer around. So we'll see what happens. But that's it for our AFC East and West predictions. Next week will be the NFC North and the NFC South. Can't wait to get into that one for sure. So that's going to be interesting for next week. It's going to be really, really good. Of course, we're going to be talking more NFL news as well on that coming up shortly. I know we're not going to have a ton of time with Hijacker, obviously, because he's at the game. But when he does show up, I do want to talk about you talk about dumpster fires. You talk about things that were just terrible. Look no further than the Jake Paul, Nate Diaz fight from Saturday night.
Oh, dear God.
God, that was horrible. Go ahead.
The only reason it was horrible, and don't get me wrong, the spectacle of seeing a former UFC champion / contender, Nate Diaz, go up against, Jake Paul. Not giving him no credit at all. But, it's a spectacle, and I get that. They're there to make money. They made a shit ton of money. Both of them did. Obviously, interest caused people to buy pay-per-view buys. Me, I will happily admit, I streamed that shit illegally and not paid a single fucking cent. Because that's what I do when it comes to shit like that. But the fight overall was boring. It was just boring.
It was very boring.
Jake is like a beginning boxer. You could tell. His footwork. I'm now no boxer by any stretch. I'm not a coach. I'm not Freddie Roach. I'm not anybody. But from a fan's perspective, you could tell that he's still relatively new and that his boxing isn't as crisp. And he's putting out these offers to these former MMA fighters, these former boxers who are like out or who are way past their prime. Going and then putting it out to celebrities and all that. Here's a good idea. You want to prove yourself as a boxer, dude? Go fight a real boxer. Fight a Canelo Alvarez. Triple G. Fight somebody in your weight class. Get somebody who you can fight against.
And here's an idea. Like you said, Ezra, actually fight somebody that has boxing experience.
And that's not a slight to Nate Diaz. As far as MMA goes, the Diaz brothers are the best boxers in the entire fucking UFC. There is no doubt. They're the best boxers in all of MMA. But when it comes to
They
pure
are.
unadulterated boxing, when it comes to pure boxing, look, you're putting an MMA fighter in there, and what did you expect? We all know this is a cash grab. We all know it is what it is, but I mean, unfortunately, people bought into it. People wanted to see it. You know what? Hey, whoever was booking this shit got what they wanted. They got a big payday out of it. Everybody got paid millions of dollars. Everybody went home happy.
Exactly. But one thing that I will say real quick is the fact that after, as he was giving his little victory speech, Jake Paul actually challenged Nate Diaz once again to a fight, but this time inside a UFC octagon. And honestly, I hope I see it happen, because if it were to happen, Nate Diaz in a UFC octagon will knock Jake Paul's teeth down his throat in the first 5 minutes.
It's not even that.
I can guarantee it.
Diaz will choke his ass out.
Yes.
Diaz's wins have come by way of submission. If Nate Diaz was faking the guillotine choke at the end of the final round, if he were to clamp that on, Jake Paul would not know what to do. He would fucking panic.
Exactly. He would freaking tap out faster than a flea could get on a dog.
Steven?
I mean, it is. Yeah.
Steven?
I think that this is why I cannot take him seriously as a quote unquote boxer, because if he tries to fight a legitimate boxer, they will knock him out. This will be another iteration of what the Brawl for All was in professional wrestling. How much of a joke that was, because people got legitimate hurt during those fights, on WWF Raw in '98. And not only that, but Dr. Dev Steve Williams' WWF career got de-pushed because of him losing the Brawl for All tournament. And then when Bart Gunn won the tournament, McMahon and the WWF exact their revenge on him by putting him up against illegitimate boxer in Butterbean. And Butterbean knocked him the hell out. And if Paul goes up against a legitimate boxer, they're not going to be playing games with this kid. They're going to knock him out. They're going to give him a nice lesson in being humble. And honestly, he needs it. He needs to be humbled. He needs to be shown that this boxing game you're playing, it's a bunch of lies. You're presenting it like a spectacle. You're not taking this serious. And I hope one day that a legitimate boxer says, yeah, I'll come fight you, at one of your pay-per-view events. But in hindsight, I would not get with him. I would treat this like a legitimate, and I hate thinking like this, because the fight that Mike's going to talk about now, that was a fight. That was a legitimate boxing fight. That was a fight.
It was, in a sense, but after looking at the highlights, you can tell that Crawford easily dominated Spence. What
I mean by legitimacy, those were two dudes that were game planning against each other. This, however, is not game planning. This is not MMA. This is not a real MMA fight. This is not a real boxing fight. You can tell this is heavily scripted.
Exactly. Just like the whole Logan Paul Ricochet match at SummerSlam was scripted, because I definitely cannot take Logan Paul serious also.
Well,
brass knucks.
Here's the difference. Look, what they did in the boxing world, they did that fight. It may have been a little bit scripted, but a lot, it's not easy for anybody to go up there and say, I'll get punched in the face for 10 rounds and get paid $10 million. A lot of people don't want to take that kind of punishment and see their face swell up like they got stung by 100 wasps.
Yep.
But as far as Logan Paul, look, as much as a lot of people don't like him, I will give him the credit in the world. He's putting in the time. He's a natural athlete. I will give him all the credit in the world. That match with him and Ricochet was highly entertaining. It was great. I thought it was a real good match. It started off the pay-per-view. I don't want to get into a wrestling tangent, obviously. But Logan Paul, for what he is, despite a lot of people don't like him, and I get it. I personally don't like him that much either. But I have to respect him as a wrestler. He's put in the time, the effort. He's not putting himself over. He's taken some losses. He's done pretty well for himself, to say the least. I mean, the guy, look at him. He got done with his match, hopped on a private jet with his wrestling gear still on, flew himself to the fight, made himself there with his gear still on, and walked his brother to the ring.
Yeah.
I give Logan Paul all the credit in the world. He is, when he has the time, he is dedicated to being a pro wrestler. Obviously, he's got so many other ventures out there with Prime and, still his podcast and video blogs and all that. Understandably so, those are his outside ventures, but that made him money to begin with. But I respect him for his pro wrestling, just the overall in-ring work. I do. He's still young, obviously, still green, but whatever. Anyways, back to the Jake Paul fight. I do agree that, it was not the greatest thing. It did the job. Everybody got paid the shit ton of money. They did record number buys. And they gave the crowd what they wanted to, big figures, one in MMA, one guy trying to be a boxer from social media world. They did the job. That's the whole point in what they did. By the way, I just saw a video from an hour ago. Somebody threw out the first pitch at the Mets game. And we know who this guy is, and everybody is saying
L.A.
Knight.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
LA Knight threw out the pitch today at the Mets.
Nice.
And of course, he came out there with his cut-off Mets jersey like he does with his vest. Came out there and did the LA Knight pose in the middle of on the way to the pitcher's mound. So very, very, very much so excited for River. So that's fun. I'm glad that LA Knight gets to do things like that. Let's see. Other things I could get into. Other things we can get into while we wait on Mr. HJM Hijacker Mike to hopefully show up. If not, by the end of the show. If not, we'll keep the show rolling a few more minutes. If not, then we'll go ahead and call it. But let's see, real quick in the world of sports. Let's go to ESPN.com. Oh, there's one piece of NFL news I forgot. And that is that Teddy Bridgewater has signed with the Detroit Lions.
Whoa, that's a backup.
Yes, he will be backing up Jared Goff.
Okay.
So that was some news that dropped yesterday. Forgot about that one. Let's see.
And there goes Joey's internet.
Joey's internet is just, it's not working today. You know what? Let's go into Major League Baseball. We do have some scores to go over in some games. Well, I mean, scores that are going on right now, obviously, but obviously we're getting closer to the hunt for October. So let's see here. Real quick. Games going on right now. Obviously, the Washington Nationals beating the Phillies 2-1 in the bottom of the fifth. In the top of the ninth, the Tampa Bay Rays over the Cards 4-1. Tigers beating the Twins 4-0 in the bottom of the eighth. The Reds are from the. Hey,
and there he is.
Speaking of baseball, ladies and gentlemen, welcome live from the Oakland A's Coliseum. None other than our boy, the host of Nation Night Fights and the creator of both in our Nation Sports Show team and graphics, HJM himself, Mr. Hijacker Mike. What's going on, brother?
What's happening, boys? What's good? What's good?
What's good, man? How you doing? How's it out there in sunny Oakland today?
It's going good. The stadium just opened here. Let me spin it around for you right quick. The stadium just opened up. So, starting to get here. As we sit around, probably another 4,000 to 5,000 people tonight, like last night, because you got first place Texas in town. So not much of a crowd here that comes out for Texas, but it's all good. We had the big crowds over the weekend. I unfortunately forgot my notes I was going to talk about tonight, so I'm gonna have to wing it on the boxing match and a little bit of the noise here for baseball. Hopefully, the music isn't too loud in the background from the speakers.
No. Actually,
you're good.
We can hear you loud and clear, bud.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll get into a little bit of a baseball because I'm sure you guys are probably waiting for me to jump on before you ended the show.
I just went over some scores just a minute ago before you logged on.
Okay, sounds good. Well, no, we'll talk a little baseball here. Over the weekend we had 37,000 plus. I think it was 37,553 on the fan-funded towel giveaway. That there brought out the biggest crowd of the year for the Oakland Athletics, but it's always a big crowd when the Giants are in town. Everybody's coming across the bay, but this year it was a little different, especially when I was on vacation a couple weeks ago, and they were doing the not reverse boycott, the Unite the Bay Series 1, Part 1 in San Francisco, where every fifth inning, top of the fifth inning, before or after the first batter, everybody gets up and chants as loud as they can, sell the team. And it has not stopped. It has continued. It's happening in other cities and states with other ball clubs in solidarity and in support of us. 37,000 plus were here to see Saturday and got the towel giveaway. I forgot to shoot you a picture of what the towel looks like, but I'm sure there's plenty of them online for people to see if they do want to see what the towel look like. Pretty nice little giveaway towel. It says sell the team, Unite the Bay, A's and Giants 2023. As well, on day 2, we had over 27,000 people show up for the Sunday's game. So, we had over 50, 60,000 people for 2 games here at the Coliseum for the 2-game series against the Giants as the A's took both games and brought home the Bay Bridge Trophy, which some people may not know. There has been a trophy that was created, I believe, back in 2017 or the 2018 season. They tore apart the old Bay Bridge when they created the new one here some years ago, and they created a trophy with some material from the old Bay Bridge, and it's the Bay Bridge Series trophy, which happens every time these teams play. Whoever wins the series gets this trophy, and if they end up coming down to a tie, which they did this year, they tied 2. San Francisco got the first 2, and Oakland, they got the second 2. Oakland, whoever wins the last game in the tie gets to bring it home, and this is the first time we brought that trophy home in the last 3, maybe 4 years. But like I said, Unite the Bay is going strong. It's insane, man. Nothing like sitting here in the top of the 5th inning and you got the whole place rocking, screaming, sell the team, and you can hear it loud and clear on both broadcasts, even the radio broadcasts as well. It's nothing like it, man. We're fighting for our lives. We're sitting in the bottom of the 9th pretty much with a couple of outs. We're in the 12th round and we've been knocked down a bunch of times, and all we can do is get up and get that knockout win. That's what we're looking for, and that's what we're hoping to get. But I'm not sure if you guys heard, August 24th in Chicago, the White Sox, when the A's roll into town, Chicago, the White Sox have a problem of their own with their own movement of sell the team. And in solidarity with the A's, they will be doing a sell the team chant in the 5th and have sell shirts available for fans out there that day. We're sending a couple of representatives out here, the Oakland 68s and the Last Dive Bar, representatives from the Oakland A's that come to the Coliseum constantly will be out in support and help lead this movement with Chicago and their problems with their owners out there as well. So, we got a lot going on, man. We got a lot going on here. This fight is not done. Still, there's a handful of owners. All we need is 8 owners to come out and say, hey, we don't like this move. We don't want this team to move. They belong in Oakland. Do not send them to Vegas. If 8 owners come out and say no on this vote when it comes down after the baseball season, Oakland ain't going nowhere in the time frame. John Fisher has put it out there saying that he does not want to be in Oakland. Rob Manfred years ago came out and said baseball needs Oakland and Oakland needs baseball. And he kind of retracted on his words, which I'm sure you guys have heard over the months. People have dug up old footage of him saying Oakland needs baseball and baseball needs Oakland. And it's like he forgot how he even said that, you know? So it's just one of those things where you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, but we're not going down without a fight because, in my opinion, nothing is done until there's a shovel in the ground somewhere, whether it's in Oakland, it's in Las Vegas, it's in Portland, but we're hoping it's going to be right here. Oakland, town business, baby.
And, you know, that right there is amazing to me that if 8 owners come out and they say no to Fisher and DeCaval's corruption, their plan will backfire. And I will go on record and I will say that ever since that episode on June 6th, which by the way is our most viewed show on YouTube, it is honestly, as long as we've been doing this show, it is the most proudest episode I can ever say that we've been a part of, because it's people like you and people like, you know, the hot dog guy, you know, and
Hal the hot dog guy.
Yeah.
Gabe.
Hal and
Gamer Athletics.
Yeah, Gabe.
Boss Man from A's Radio.
Yeah, from A's Radio. Shout outs to everybody out there. All of you guys are on here and you were just giving your passion, just all of this. And I hope that when it's voting time, I hope that 8 owners or more say no to the move to Vegas. Because if that happens, Fisher is out.
That's what it is, man. We need him to sell the team. He's losing money and he's trying to there's something going on. There's something going on with Oakland that we the fans don't know about. And we're trying to figure it out, but nothing's coming out. Something happened probably with Libby Schaff, the last mayor that left, because Shane Tao right now, who just got sworn into office back in January, is working her best saying, hey, we got $400 million, site's ready. We can have this stadium built in the same amount of time as Las Vegas is telling us they can build their stadium. But the problem is I think Fisher just doesn't have the money anymore like he did 3 years ago before the pandemic started. I think he's going broke. I think he's losing money because before the pandemic, his stock market for Old Navy and Gap was $53, $54 a share. Now he's sitting down around maybe $8 a share. And that's a lot of money per share, especially when you have thousands and millions staked into it to have your money, because he was worth $2.2 billion just 3 to 4 years ago. And I don't think he has that money. But why would you leave a project you've already put $100 and something million into to do the environmental, to make sure everything was popping off right, everything was working right? Why would you leave that to go somewhere else? We got the money you requested. I think you don't have the money on your end to keep up your bargain, because right now he's having trouble. He's having big trouble trying to find backers to help him pay for what he has to in Las Vegas. So that's kind of something to chew on. And that's a little bit of a issue for him right now. That's why I think we're kind of hung up. Plus, if you look at it, the schools, money, stadium over schools, something's not right there, man. Why would you want a 9-acre stadium, which most baseball stadiums are 9 acres, just the field itself, just inside the stadium with the chairs, with the first couple of levels and rows of chairs? Why would you want that? You want a big stadium out there. Look at what that football team got. I'm not going to say their names because you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Look at what that football team did. They were last in attendance in the NFL, and they got the newest stadium in the NFL. Isn't that sad?
And look, and when you mentioned earlier about the White Sox and the A's joining together in solidarity, it took me a second to realize, Jerry Reinsdorf. I've had a big issue with him for years. He is a cancer to not only the White Sox, he's also a cancer to his other team that he owns, the Chicago Bulls. Yeah. He has ruined the Bulls over the past 10 years. He got rid of so many great players: Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Carlos Boozer, Tom Taj Gibson, Kyle Korver. He's gotten rid of so many great players. Same thing with the White Sox. He's ruined the White Sox ever since the 05 championship team. They have not been the same. And you know what? He has done nothing. Unfortunately, in as much as I love that field, to me, Guarantee Rate Field, while it's a good football field, but to me, from the last time I was there, it could use some improvement.
Yeah.
But Jerry Reinsdorf's not taking care of that. All he cares about is padding his bottom dollar and his fine line, and he just doesn't care about those teams because obviously, look at what the Bulls are going through. Yes, they had some success, but they got a player on their team who hasn't played in nearly 3 years, who's sitting with 2 bum knees, who could probably never play again, and they're paying him. They're probably going to let go of the man he just gave a 5-year contract extension to within the next year or so. They're probably going to let him go. And Zach LaVine. You're kidding me. So I agree with, and I hope that Chad is so loud that Jerry Reinsdorf hears it in his private suite, wherever he's at in that damn building. Because if he is there, I hope he hears it loud and clear that, you know what,
Definitely.
as much as it, I agree with you. That's why I put sell the team on mine. You know, not staying with solidarity with the Oakland A's, but also now more so staying in solidarity with my Chicago White Sox in the way that we need to get him out of office for good and put somebody in who's going to take care of not only our Major League Baseball organization, but our basketball one as well.
Yeah, definitely, man. We have to. No fan should have their team leave them. When it comes down to that, owners have to look at it and see, okay, why are the fans not showing up? You know, in our case out here, all of our favorite players and big name players are getting traded away after a couple of years. How do you define that? How do you beat that? You can't. You know, why do you want to stick around if players are getting constantly traded away? What are we to do, man? We're fans. I'm here to be entertained. I don't want to keep revolving door a lot of players and see new guys come in. We got rid of Chapman. We got rid of Olsen. We have 2 young guys that are on the squad right now, Zach Geloff and Tyler Soderstrom. These 2 guys could be the next Matt Olsen and Matt Chapman, but I have a feeling these guys are going to be traded before we get to see their prime. They're going to be dumped off with more talent, and that sucks.
Because John Fisher, real quick, John Fisher is an owner that does not supply and keep the team going. All he sees is money in front of him, and that's why he keeps giving away his top talent. And that's why the fans aren't showing up, because they're not going to show up because they don't care about the team. Because like Hal, like Gabriel, like Bossman from A's, the A's Fan Radio Show, these 3 people, including yourself, Mike, was on here saying, look, we are fans through thick and thin, through the good times and the bad times and the damn right ugly. And it just goes to show you that the fandom for Oakland is strong. I mean, 50, 60,000 plus people have shown up the last couple of games. You guys united along with the Giants fans coming together under one thing, one mission, and that is to unite the Bay, unite everybody around the world. And I hope and I pray that the rest of the MLB owners will wake up. They will realize that every team deserves to have their rightful city's team. Because by leaving Oakland and going to Vegas, if this happens, it will be the biggest travesty to hit baseball in a long time.
Amen.
Definitely, man. Definitely, you know. And I'll leave this right here. You know, as we continue to fight, we're standing with the Chicago White Sox while they fight. And I'm glad they picked Oakland to come into town to fight with and do their protest, you know, their reverse boycott protest. You got to let me know how that goes out there, Ezra, since I know that's your team. And you're, how far are you from Chicago out there?
Only about 50 minutes.
Okay, you plan to head to that game, or you chilling at home on that night?
Don't know yet. I can put in a request to work and I'll see what I could do. No guarantees. But if I do get the day off, I will buy a ticket and go.
That issue called job that we do need, right?
Yeah, unfortunately so, man. I'm lucky enough to get a whole damn week off and All Out coming up. That's probably the main reason why I may not go, because I've got All Out coming up and I'm spending 4 days out in Chicago, going to 3 different
Gotcha.
wrestling shows and a full-on convention. But
Gotcha.
yeah, definitely, man. I'm gonna try to be out there as much as I can to support. If not, I'll be here at the house wearing my White Sox jersey and hold up, and I will take a picture with a sign that says "Sell the team" on it and post that shit all over social media.
There you go, my brother. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but other than that, that's what's going on in the world of Oakland Athletic. Like I said, I forgot my notes, and that's not a good journalistic or host of a talk show or anything like that supposed to do. But I was going to talk a little bit about last week's fight between Crawford and Spence, which, hey, Crawford beat the hell out of Spence, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Knocked him down in the second, TKO'd him in the ninth. But if you guys watched the fight or checked it out, Spence's best round was the second round when he got knocked down. He was controlling the first 2.5 minutes until he got knocked down with about, I think, 19 seconds left in the round.
Yeah.
He was controlling that with 1, 2, 3 shot combos, 1, 2, 3 shot combos. And it's just like, wow, dude, this dude is really putting in work. But once he got knocked down, that was it. And then Crawford just tore him up. He had him beat on the CompuBox. I think he landed 185 punches to 85 punches that Spence had. So, hey,
Yeah.
man, I was thinking that was going to be more of a solid fight. But when I saw Spence's face after that fight, he was beat up pretty good, man. He looked like he got hit by a truck.
Yeah, man. I watched that whole fight from start to finish, and man, what a fight that was, man. Terrence Crawford, what was the key to Terrence Crawford was that left jab. It was that left jab that he kept just stinging him with over and over again, kept him at bay, and then he would hit it with that uppercut or that overhand shot, and he would just keep peppering him with that over and over again. That kept Spence at bay from trying to get his footwork and trying to get his distance, and that was the key to victory for Crawford. But man, dude, he left him swollen. Oh my god, dude! And I had the CompuBox numbers right here.
What you got?
I got right here. For 185 for Crawford total landed to 96 for Spence. Total punches thrown 369 to 480 in favor of Spence.
Wow.
But here's the big factor. Here's the big factor. Power punches landed. Power punches landed. 98 for Crawford, 63 for Spence.
Wow.
Power thrown 184. Yeah, so 60% of his power punches landed.
Man. Yep.
Compared to 34% for Spence.
Yeah, and it looks like majority of those punches landed on Spence's face, as bad as his face was messed up, man. He looked like Rocky after he fought Apollo, man.
Yep.
I would say this much though. Spence did have some good body work though. He did.
Yeah.
He landed some good body shots, but they weren't enough to really do any significant damage because, like I said, with that jab, and then he would throw the jab and throw the uppercut, which kind of kept, like I said, kept the distance in favor of Crawford and allowed him to throw as much power as he can without having to get in too close in the clinch.
Yeah. If you notice, Crawford also took away Spence's jab. That was the big key. He took his jab away and he kept counteracting with his own jab, throwing him off balance. And that's because that's Spence's money ticket right there is his jab. He sets everything up with that jab to take you down with the inside body shot. But he took the jab away from him, and that messed up Spence's game through the whole fight. Like I said, that second round was his round, but when he got knocked down, it's like it was it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Steven?
Yes. I mean, that was a total domination by Crawford. I mean, just a complete lesson in how to be a dominant boxer. I mean, just 60% on those power punches, like that's just incredible. I mean, just complete control. He took command of the fight after being dominated for the first 2.5 rounds. I mean, it's just once you figure out a game plan, and they're not stopping your, especially that left jab, like you guys were talking about, like not stopping, not stopping the game plan, you can have your opponent on its heels. And that's what he did. And he won, fair and square, total domination.
Most definitely, man. It was dominated from pretty much beginning to end. That first couple of rounds, he was a little slow, but he picked up the pace. But that's what you do. You fill out your opponent by going in slow. You don't want to go in heavy like Mike Tyson did back in the day, man, because I don't see no power punches like that going anymore. But that's the main thing, in my opinion, right there, is just taking it easy. He got in there. He took away his jab. He put him down. The referee had to step in and stop that fight. But as we continue on, like I said, I'm thinking upcoming fights. I'm seeing Jake Paul is getting ready to fight Dennis, right?
Yes. After Jake beat Nate Diaz on Saturday as well.
Yeah. Funny thing with that is I'm hearing Conor McGregor is coming out starting some shit. He come out and start talking on Twitter, and Conor got in it. They end up talking, deleting some tweets, and then all of a sudden, we may see Conor and Jake Paul down the line. I don't know what type of fight, but I doubt if we see Paul get in the octagon. I think it'll be a boxing
here's
match.
the thing, though. Here's the thing, Hijacker. Jake put up a $10 million offer to Nate Diaz to fight him inside an octagon.
Really?
After this boxing match, and he already put the offer on the table before the boxing match before the fight even started. He had put a $10 million offer to Nate, told him, hey, I will put, no matter what happens here, I will meet you inside your territory. That is a fool's errand if I ever heard one in my life.
Hey, I don't know if he's ready for that, man. Nate Diaz is a beast in the octagon, man.
Him and his brother are, you want to talk about boxing? When it comes to MMA, when it comes to boxing inside an octagon, nobody in striking, nobody does it better than the Diaz brothers. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nick is a future UFC Hall of Famer. So is Nate. But those two brothers from Stockton, man, those two guys are some of the best strikers, especially when it comes to their boxing inside of an octagon. And when they combine their boxing with their kicks, they are the best. I know that from watching Nate and Nick since probably like 2007. I've watched them guys literally grow up to be the best right in front of me. So
yeah, definitely. So if I didn't leave my notes at home like a dumbass, that's what I got. I had a few more things on there, but I'm drawing a blank on them. So, but that's it from me from the week, man. That's my report from Oakland. That's my report in this week's boxing, which happened to be last week because I didn't get a chance to get on and talk about the fight then. But, there's a few things I wanted to discuss with you boys about it. But that's it for Hijack and Mike this week, brothers.
All right, buddy.
Have fun at the game, brother.
Yeah, you too.
Will do. I'll give you guys another shot of the field as JP Sears is warming up right there.
All right. There we go.
Sell the team.
Yeah, sell the team, man. We're going to make sure we get that chant in there later on in the fifth inning.
Hashtag sell the team.
That's it, brothers. All right, man. You guys
take
have
care,
a good
brother.
rest of the show. And I'll
Yes,
catch
sir.
up with y'all on the flip side.
Yep.
All right, buddy.
All right, guys.
All right, later, man.
Peace.
Peace. He's out of there. That was awesome.
What a great way to end the show, man. What a great way to end the show. Unfortunately, our buddy Joey, he had to log off. Obviously, he's tired. He worked. Been a long week for him already. Understandably so. But thank you to Joey, of course, for being on with us as he always does. Kevin, get well, and we'll see you next week. Thank you to Hijacker Mike, as always, for the live report. Of course, Nation Night Fights. Follow him at Mr. Mac. All the links are in the video description. Also, don't forget to follow Smoke in the Bay. Smoke, the letter N, THABAY, on his socials. Eventually, he'll have some stuff up there about cigars, smoking, and all that stuff. So check that out as well. But Steven, we got to close this out, brother. And there's only one way you know how.
Yeah, that's right. And what a great show, and what a great way to finish out the night with our boy Hijacker Mike coming in from Oakland, California, live from the Oakland Athletics game tonight. And boy, oh boy, what a great show it was tonight, recapping the week in sports. And next week, we switch over to the NFC, as the NFC South and the NFC North is our next two divisions, as we have 4 more divisions to go in the next 2 weeks. And we will begin our NFC side of the bracket next week. And Kevin will be back with us next week, and we are looking forward to having him back on the show next week. And thank you to everybody out there in YouTube land that is watching this tonight, especially to our favorite buddy, Randy. Thank you for keeping the chat entertaining tonight, good sir. And shout outs to your father, William, and everybody out there in the Nation's Corner. Don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner. Everywhere else on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it is at the Nation's Corner. And don't forget to check out the crew this Saturday as they preview all of the weekend, or they recap all the week in wrestling. And obviously, AEW Collision is happening this Saturday in the world famous Greensboro Coliseum, and our very own front row will be there live in Greensboro for AEW Collision, as we are inching very close to AEW All In at Wembley Stadium in England. And that card is looking really stacked. And speaking of stacked, we got a stacked show for you guys next week, recapping all what happens in sports from this week. Maybe some more signings will happen. Maybe some more contract negotiations, some disagreements will happen. Who the hell knows? But we will be back next Tuesday, and we will be recapping all of the stuff happening with football, as we are so close to football starting. And with that being said, Ezra, wrap this up as well as you know how to do, my friend.
Yep, of course, man. And before we go and before we say goodbye, I'd also like to give a shout out to another event happening this weekend, Mission Pro's Boiling Point. I said this at the beginning of the show. I'm going to promote it again. Mission Pro Wrestling's got a show for San Antonio, Texas, called Boiling Point, coming up this week. Genocide taking on Tiffany for the Mission Pro Wrestling Championship. And one of the biggest matches on the card outside of that, the debut of the former superfan, now turned pro wrestler, Izzy Moreno, as she takes on Jasmine Allure in her debut wrestling match. It's going to be awesome to see it. It's going to see if Izzy can get the win, or will Jasmine Allure prove that she's just too much and it's too early for her to gain that victory. We'll find out. MissionProWrestling.com if you're in the area to get tickets, or go to Title Match Network, sign up, only $9.99 a month, and go ahead and watch the pay-per-view live as it happens. And if you can't, it'll be available 24 hours after the show airs. So definitely get on that. Once again, MissionProWrestling.com. Follow Mission Pro Wrestling on their social medias as well. And support women's wrestling, support independent wrestling as well. And I, of course, in a couple weeks, I will be at StarCast, that all-out weekend, doing my thing, going to GCW, going to see, hopefully meet some of my favorites, including some legends. Can't wait. But enough about me, enough about that. Let's close this out. Obviously, for Randy Gyron, for Joey Thornton, for Big Stevie Wyand, and for Joey Thornton, I am Ezra Vickery. And we will see you right here next week with another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. And we will see you all next week with NFC North and NFC South. Peace out. Take care, everybody.